not just about the wedding. It's always very glamorous. It's always very, oh, everybody wants to do the wedding, but it's the life after. And with this life after, it means developing yourself emotionally. Are you actually emotionally developed to be a wife in the house? Can you organize yourself? Can you organize your finances? Do you know what it is to manage when things are little? Do you know what it is to, like, you don't have enough money? Do you know what it is to actually build a home? Really, those are those I think are what Yinka might probably be referring to as preparing for marriage.
Exactly, because I believe you need to prepare for it, because that's why people rush out of it. When you don't prepare for something and you come to a situation that you can't undo, you just feel, God, I need to back out. But for my own understanding, because I'm a Christian as well, once you're in a marriage, you have to be, there's this thing for better, for worse. And sometimes people prepare for the better, they don't prepare for the worse. So you have to be prepared for both sides. That's what I mean by the preparing. Yeah. Thank you very much for that. Right, answer yes or no to this. Is marriage a necessity? And what are the reasons behind your answer, Danny?
For me, no, it's not a necessity. Sorry, it's if you want to get married, get married. If you don't want to, I don't think anyone should kind of pressure you or make you feel less of a woman or less of a man because you're not married, or because like single parent people who have been married before but the relationship broke down or the marriage broke down, and now they're a single mother or single father, and the shame and the stigma that I've talked to some single mothers and stuff like that, and they explain this kind of inherent shame that some other people put on them, whereas they're quite fine, do you know what I mean? They're happy, they know what went wrong in that marriage or that relationship, and to be honest, they left for very good reasons. So I'm just like, I just think there's way too much pressure, and it's just from the African, I don't know, I can only speak about Nigerian African countries. It's just from the Nigerian society, and yeah, no.
You're saying marriage is not a do or die affair?
No.
And it's not everybody that will get married in life. Okay. So, what are some of the things you think can set people into panic alarm for a lady?
Parents. Sorry.
For a lady at the age of 35, and she's not married, what are the things that sets the alarm, the panic alarm?
It's family. It's parents. It's family.
I didn't even finish my question, Danny. You just said parents.
That's the answer. Well, anyway, I think that's what sets some, and it affects women more. I think it affects girls more. The panic, as you said, this internal panic, and it's not from inherently within yourself. It's from other people that are instilling this fear of, I don't know, like,
biological clock is ticking.
Yeah, like something's gonna happen. Like you're just gonna like wither and die if you don't marry in the next like 5 years or something. It's just like it's a bit crazy sometimes.
So you think it's just from the family?
Family pressure. It's what, and on the other hand, I know for women we have a certain limit to reproduce. So I guess the closer you get to a certain age, if you want children, then that will add to your panic internally as well. But I think at
35, she's 35.
Up to like in your early 30s, I just think like there really shouldn't be any reason to like be panicking at that point. Women are like having technology and science is just so forward now. Women are having women at 40, like in the 40s, in the 50s. I'm not saying wait till you're 40 before you start. I'm just saying like it's not this do or die thing that if by 30 you don't have your 3 children, that's it, game over. It's just not going to happen. I think it's just, I don't know, it's just an old mentality for me.
What do you think, Grace?
Well, I do agree with Dami because, like I said the last time, marriage is not a do or die affair. Even the Bible says when Jesus was asked, he was like, it's not everybody that is going to get married. There are some people who on their own choose not to marry. There are some people who have been forced not to marry, and there are some people who circumstances have made it not possible for them to get married. So it just depends on you understanding where am I at this situation, and then enjoying where you are at the moment. As in, you don't need to be married to be fulfilled. You don't need to be married to have a child. Like I said last time, if you're so desperate for a child, then you
Can
go
adopt
out.
one.
Yes, you can adopt one if you really want a child, really.
You can even have your own. Technically.
Technically, okay.
I'll throw it out there. You
Now
can
we're
have
focusing
mine.
on lady that want to marry.
Okay.
What do you think a man should be looking for?
Okay. I was going to say waiting to be engaged.
To
Do
be
I
en-
fall into that category?
Yeah, you're waiting to be engaged. Yeah.
I don't agree.
That
I don't like that.
That
at all.
want to marry, of course.
Okay.
You want to get married. That you're not being waiting.
Well, I think it's just a play of words. I think it's just a
I'm
play of
just
words.
messing
It's
with
just
it.
messing around with you. It's just a play of words, really.
Yeah. So what was the question? Sorry.
What should a man look out for if he wants
If
to?
you, yeah,
What should a man look for?
yeah,
who
look
wants
out
forward.
for
to
in a lady.
Gosh, $1 million question. Men are so, it's individual, aren't they? Men are so individual. I think what infuriates one man, another man will absolutely love that thing about you, and vice versa. You know, as you said, I mentioned before about tolerance. So, you know, people have different. So I believe
Level.
men will have different levels of tolerance of, you know, because we're all flawed. You know, people are flawed. So I don't think you can really have this checklist of, okay, tick tick tick. I think that checklist is going to be different for each individual man. So I don't think, but I assume generally, if it's important to them, they probably want, you know, like a God-fearing Christian woman. I know food is important, at least if they're African. I assume if they're Nigerian, probably, you know, be able to cook things as good as their mother. That's what they usually say, even better than their mother. I don't know. And, you know, just see, apart from that, you know, I don't know, it depends on how superficial they are. Do they want certain physical things on the woman, certain physical characteristics? I assume they want a woman who, you know, obviously loves, you know, his mother and gets on with his family, his sisters, etc., etc. So I think those basic things probably for a man are probably the same. But I think anything after that, the checklist is quite individual
quite
from man to
What do
man.
you think, Grace?
well, I think
I'm great in bed, sorry. After they're married, I think that's important for them.
Okay.
okay. Well, I think I do agree with what Dami has said. Besides, I think it just depends on the man understanding what the purpose of marriage is for. As in, first of all, one of the very prime purpose that we could see from the very first marriage is for companionship. So is this the kind of woman that I can live with? Is this the kind of woman that I don't get tired of? Is this the kind of woman that sort of like I can almost wake up every day and still want to talk to her? Do you understand? As in that companionship. And then there's this aspect of, is this the kind of woman that can help me with where I'm going to? Because it's very easy for us to say, oh, as a helpmeet, but you as a man, you need to know where you're going to before you're dragging somebody along to help you. So if I don't know where you're going to, it's most likely I'm either not going to be helping you properly or might actually be doing something different. Yeah. So you're also looking out as in, is this a woman that fits into my vision, what I think? Because there's no point trying to marry somebody who is planning to go to Uganda, you know, to be a missionary, and you're planning to stay here in UK to wait to like have an orphanage.
Yeah,
that's really not going
definitely.
to work out. And then there's also the case of get a man looking out in a woman. If this is okay, I've talked about companionship. I've talked about
Having the same vision.
having the same vision
to the same place.
and the same. If are we going along the same place? And just like what Dami said, beyond all the physical characteristics, and I mean, I'm not ruling out physical attraction, because there's no point getting married to somebody that you're not attracted to, no matter how you try to sort of like spiritualize that. Really, beyond all the physical attraction, as in down to her person, is this my kind of person? Because at the end of the day, the beautiful face, the beautiful figure, all of that is
It fades.
it will fade. It
Eventually.
might fade, not necessarily, but you're going to be down with that woman at the end of the day. So I think you're watching out for this person that I know. Is this my kind of person?
I
That's
do.
what we
I do.
Yeah, I understand.
What do you think of doing that because, to be honest, I think that men are generally hunters, and we as women, we like to be pursued.
No.
Someone might say that that's
some women like
someone
to
might
do the
say that's
pursuing.
the controversial bit, but to be honest, at the end of the day, really, as a woman, you want to be sure and you want to know that this man really has eyes for only you. I don't come in thinking.
Grace, I wanted to answer this.
Yeah?
Can you not do it because you're an African lady?
No, it's not a matter of African ladies. Just me. I can't do it. As in, if he's there and he sees me and he likes me, then he should go about it. That's what I
There's
think.
nothing wrong with you kind of going over first.
Well, I'm not going over first. I'm not going to go over first.
I'd go over
But
first if
I
I wanted
think
to, but I just think
Some people said Ruth in the Bible. We are all familiar with the Bible, aren't we? Are you saying Ruth did the wrong thing? Or
Well, I remember a friend of mine saying that this morning, and I'm like, well, let's look at the story critically. What does the story say? What does the Bible say? Bible tells us that Ruth went wrong, helping her mother-in-law, and in the course of helping her mother-in-law, she happens to be working in the field of this rich, kinsman who is supposed to be like her kinsman redeemer. Somehow, Boaz got to notice her because I don't believe Ruth was
how did he notice that?
Well, let's start. I don't believe Ruth was the only hard-working lady there. He did notice her. He told his servants, oh, please, for that lady, make sure you don't glean everything. Drop some things for her. And then I'm sure he must have asked around, as in, who exactly is that chick over there? And then he was told, oh, that's Ruth. That's Ruth's, Naomi's daughter-in-law that has come all the way with her. And then after that, he did notice her. And all Naomi said to Ruth was, okay, this is what you're to do. Go to, make sure you notice where he's laid down. And that's an old thing. Make sure you notice where he's laid down and sort of uncover the skirt. And then he said to her, oh, who are you? And then she replied and all of that. And you know what the Bible says? The Bible says that by the time Ruth got to her mother-in-law said he would not rest until he accomplished the matter. Ruth didn't go back checking, and all that. So it's easy to say, yes,
can I just clarify? I didn't say I would keep going back and doing the chasing.
No,
but
you.
it's just making, I'm just saying that if a woman makes that initial point of contact, that doesn't mean she's then the one that chasing afterwards. Like I said,
men are chaser.
You get
are we agreeing that men are the chaser?
Well, I'll put my hands up for that.
Some women like to do the chasing. Some women like to do the chasing once in a while. It's fun.
It's fun.
It is.
I like it, Danny.